we're going to watch today from Grace Randolph, Beyond the Trailers, talking with Zack Snyder. She landed an interview. After that whole Birds of Prey, Kathy Ann fiasco, she was like, oh, I'm going to show you I have sources.
Redemption arc.
I'm going to show you I have connections. I'm going to get the man himself.
Go to the source.
I'm going to get Zack Snyder. I mean, this is awesome for her. And if you guys actually watch her, I think some people clicked on the video assuming it was one thing. But really, we have a very non-biased point of view when we did the whole breakdown of that. Kathy Ann and Grace Randolph going back and forth on Twitter. In terms of her landing an interview with Zack Snyder at this time, I gotta give it to her. Out of anyone on YouTube right now that I could think of whose videos I watch, she's the one who deserves it. She's written for DC. She's a big DC supporter. She's an actual, not just movie fan, but comic fan herself. She's been an adamant supporter for the DCEU, even like a defender when it was getting a lot of hate, more than a lot of us. Grace Randolph is the one who, I'm like, does this make sense that she got this interview? To me, it makes a lot of sense. It's a 22-minute interview. I'm excited to check it out. I imagine that we're gonna have a lot to talk about afterwards, so we're gonna switch to the good mics after the reaction, and then we'll talk about whatever. It's her, so I'm assuming we're probably going to get some rich things out of here, some awesome things to discuss. So let's get into it, guys.
Look who we have here, Mr. Zack Snyder.
Hello.
Good morning.
Damn, look at the quality on that.
How does it feel to be the most
Look how handsome he is. Jesus Christ. He looks so great right now. So fresh.
Quarantine haircut.
That's 100% true, but it's it's fun to be busy. I guess that's the important thing. We have I'm working on
Fun to be
finishing
busy.
Army, and now pretty much full time on Justice League. So yeah.
Army of the Dead is for Netflix, right?
Army of the Dead is for Netflix.
Christy Elliott.
Oh boy.
It's just
Now's the time.
that I got to do with those guys, and I'm really excited about it. I think it.
But damn, look at that. Look at the rest of the cast. Jesus.
Once I ripped my eyes away.
I can't wait. So the Snyder
Batista?
Cut is a bold move, Zach. You're breaking all the rules, including running time. So there's Titanic, 195 minutes. Gone with the Wind, 221 minutes. But I hear your Justice League is even longer.
Yeah, well, I can't be. No one's going to accuse me of making short movies. That's a fact. Track record, with, especially with my director's cuts, is pretty.
700
I don't know
minutes.
why that is, because it came from commercials, right? So it was always like, hey, 30 seconds. Maybe it's because of that. I was like,
Yeah, you were like, I can't wait to break free of the 30 seconds.
So, so. And I have sort of famously advertised the runtime at 2 hours and 14 minutes, or no, 214 minutes, 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 hours.
Way short for you,
Pretty good.
That's pretty normal.
Especially now.
It's crazy. No, it's actually
Shorter than the one that came out.
But I think that would certainly when it's now in its current state, it's going to end up being longer than that yet. So
Ooh.
exciting.
217 minutes.
New material to the fans. They get to see all these crazy and awesome new sequences, and I think that's going to be really exciting for everyone.
So can you reveal like the ballpark of how long it's going to be, or is that still a closely guarded secret?
It's a slightly closely guarded secret, yeah. I just want, the thing is, like, I really want to, when I sort of talk about that in the upcoming time, because I'm still working on it, so I don't want to, say, because it's still...
You don't want people to be like, where's the minutes you promised me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're holding you accountable.
Yeah, 2 minutes short.
What was in those 2 minutes?
That was good.
We need hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's a lot of it's post, and you're doing all of this from home. I had a wonderful time in 2017. I got to visit you and your team on the Warner Brothers lot. You had this huge suite of offices, a giant editing bay. But now you got to do this movie from home. What's it like with you and your team in quarantine?
It's kind of, look, it's challenging, but I'll be honest about our working situation in that it is pretty efficient. We've gotten to this point where we can really sort of, I have editorial upstairs, and then downstairs we have like a screening room so we can watch the dailies or watch the visual effects as they come in. And then Dodie and I have like this amazing sort of mirrored editing system, so I can see.
Dodie's your editor.
Yeah, so I can see exactly what she's doing, and it's a really an amazing technological setup. So it's allowed us. The problem is you can't leave it, right? You don't.
Oh yeah, you'd be like 2 in the morning. You'd be like, I have an idea.
It's literally in that. It's like it's crack of dawn till like the wee hours, and we're just you never. I mean, unless the kids come and drag me out, pretty much. It's good. It's fun. I really enjoy it.
We're in there 30 hours a day.
Oh God, yeah. All the time.
That's great.
That's
That's
like
really crazy.
Those are our breaks. So the breaks we get are when we're like, oh, she's don't work. Now we can go
Oh
outside.
yeah. Hey, this was just unplugged. Oh really?
Yeah, broken.
Yeah.
I thought that was the fix to all technological problems. You just unplug it.
Yeah. That's how you fix yourself for a few minutes. So, speaking of secretive, you've only shown your cut to a handful of people, and it's already become legend. That's a lot of pressure. So, what do you feel that the Snyder Cut needs to deliver?
Let me put on my glasses for
Yeah.
this one.
My graphic novel specs.
The process is sort of an amazing. It's been a way to kind of allow filmmakers and storytellers, it's this kind of affirmation of this concept that, storytellers matter, their stories matter. And I think really the big pressure on me is just for it to be exactly true to itself, And I know that sounds like obvious, but, we as storytellers and as filmmakers, a lot of time, there's a lot of different powers that push and move and change, what you're doing as you're doing it. But
Joss Whedon.
This process and this project, it really is an amazing opportunity just to, and what I think the fans want is just a very pure and exact version of the movie, and that's what I'm doing.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
That's a great question. A great answer.
Yeah.
Damn. I was like, you handle that.
Grace Randolph ought to interview somebody.
Right? That just dominates comic movie discussion all these days. And some fans have been wondering how, or even if, your version of Justice League relates to the rest of the DCEU. Can clarify.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and that, we
He's
shot
switching
the
between
movie
producer and writer.
Things happen fast and hard.
It'll be 5 years old when it comes out. For me, I've been living with it for that long. So, I think that and frankly, the DC, cinematic universe has gone on its branched like a tree and blossomed and grown in amazing and great ways. Like, look, I'm a producer on
Wonder Woman.
84.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about what Patty's done with that movie, and it's amazing, and I love that. I love that character, and I love Gal. It's very close to me, and so that's great. That's amazing, I think, to me. And you look at what Matt's doing with Batman, and you have this. And by the way, I think I'm super excited about that. By the way,
He's excited.
Amazing filmmaker. I think this is great. And Robert's cool. Anyway,
Robert
Snyder approved.
well, it's just, I'm a fan, so I'm excited.
Sure.
For me, in the where the movie falls is it's sort of I believe that it really starts to represent its own path. It doesn't really. It's kind of separate now from what I would say the DC universe, cinematic universe in continuity. I think it is it's divergent in that way, and I think that that's a good thing. I think that the power of DC
For now.
one of its cool strengths is the sort of multiverse concept where and also where they kind of put filmmakers first and say, you know what, guys, we want to hear your voice, your individual voices. Take these characters and do a run, and so show us what you would do, in sort of the great tradition of comic book writing and runs that have done with all these amazing characters. So I think that is a cool and amazing sort of canvas. And so for me, I think Justice League, I've heard someone say so you're entering the Snyderverse now. When you watch and frankly,
Hashtag Snyderverse.
What you'll see at Justice League and Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel, there's continuity across those three.
This is the proper part 3.
Very because I hate them. I think that's my main focus, is to satisfy that narrative structure.
To continue that story that so many people
fell in love with.
Right. Well, I really like, we were talking about this beforehand, in the run up to this, and I loved your explanation that it is like those great runs when you have these really amazing artists with visions take over a comic book character and just do like this really high art version of what they would do with that character if they were telling a story with them.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel about it. I just think that it's like these characters will live long past what we do, and they're going to go on other adventures into who knows where, space and time, and thank God.
So you're saying there could be a sequel to the Snyder Cut? That's what I'm getting from this.
I would not ever count that out.
I'm blessed to have these actors sort of fill these shoes in this way that I think people really care about, and it is really.
Well, you picked them too. You did a very nice job. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But speaking of characters, I really like Evil Superman. You like Evil Superman. A lot of people, just like Batman, don't trust the guy. Why do you think the darker side of the Man of Steel is so appealing to people, and will we see more of that in the Snyder Cut?
Well, do I love the Evil Superman?
She's doing a really great job.
Oh yeah. She's playing it cool too.
Yeah. This is a great interview. It is.
A journey with his character, I love the idea of Superman having to reconcile his morality, reconcile his place on Earth, reconcile his
chest hair. I love her.
I love the hobo graphic they pulled up.
The way he relates to humanity and all those things, as we all do with the normal relationships we all have in our daily lives. So I think that when you see Superman grapple with those things,
I don't need these anymore.
Relatable and a lot more, you can
Superman,
see
that's dark.
What's that?
For Superman, that's dark.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what I'm saying. So, when I see Superman, having to figure out, what to do, I now can go, wow, if I was Superman, I could see, because Superman is such an abstract character in his powers and, what he's able to do.
Right.
That anytime you can kind of bring him, back down to earth, he becomes a lot more relatable. And I think, and for that reason, more interesting. But I do, have a huge respect for his, moral code and his,
Oh, sure, but
and I think his ultimate place as the sort of as the top of the pyramid of the DC superhero world.
Oh, totally.
I think you have to in the end he has to achieve that pinnacle.
So you feel you're taking with your story.
I always felt like that was really
Ooh, Superman.
Is most powerful. In some of your shots, some of my favorite shots that you've done, the heat vision laser eyes that sometimes he just has, and some of the confrontations in Batman v Superman, and also, the way he is just so powerful from what we see, the glimmers we've only just seen in Justice League. And I think also, obviously, the Nightmare stuff. So I think that stuff's really compelling.
Yeah, and frankly, really fun because, we kind of have these, now like with the resurrection sort of theme concept,
Easter.
you know, who is he now? Like, what is he? When you touch the, like, you know, the eternal, in the sense that coming back from the grave, like how are we changed by that? You know. So.
Joss Whedon explored that perfectly fine.
Such a deep, rich character study.
Through the years, but nobody's done as good a job with Bruce Wayne as you and Ben Affleck. Why did you decide to do so many scenes with Bruce while a lot of other films focused largely on Batman?
You know, I don't think it's necessarily a conscious like decision to say, oh, let's use Bruce as the sort of conduit. But I mean, I think in these two movies, in BVS and in Justice League, because Batman is forced to do a lot of sort of he's doing a lot of Bruce Wayne activities, if you will, like
Bruce
Places
Wayne
only Bruce
shit.
can go.
yeah, like being out in the world, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, Bruce doesn't really. It's hard for Batman to go to a party, or it's hard, you know what I mean?
Unless it's a costume party.
Oh, that's good. I think that, you know, Bruce in his humanity again, I think is an amazing thing to see, and like, you know, because we know everyone loves Batman. Batman's a badass, and that's just how it is. But the why of that, I think, is really cool.
I think so too. Everyone loves that.
His parents died.
What?
Yeah, I love that.
They did?
It's fantastic. Well, you know, your casting decisions have really helped shape the entire DCEU. It might have blossomed, but you were the seed. And I think you've done a fantastic job. And Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot turned out especially well. And fans felt that Aquaman and Wonder Woman weren't done justice in the 2017 theatrical cut. What can fans look forward to seeing from those characters in your version?
Well, you know, I'm not sure. Again, you know, famously, and it's 100% true, I haven't seen the theatrical cut of Justice.
Sure, yeah.
And so I'm not 100%
Yeah,
sure
fuck that one.
happens to them in the movie.
Can we get a quick fuck Joss Whedon?
But, you know, I would say that.
Forget that thing. We don't care about that old version anymore. But
Well, I mean, I'm
yours,
saying that
yeah,
if you make it as a, you know,
comparison. Yeah.
compare, yeah, I'm not sure,
Okay.
but I felt like, and we were excited about just how those two kind of loners would have to, you know, be incorporated into this team setting, and like how they would react and what they would do. And meanwhile, you know, Wonder Woman has other things going on as she looks forward to the future, and like what is her place, and is it time?
Joss Whedon explored that perfectly.
Yeah, you know,
Things like that.
with all
There's a
those
lot of-
lighthearted jokes he threw.
There's a lot of balls in the air with them, with both of them. So I think it's really.
Wow, there's like full-on character development that we're gonna see in this. This is crazy.
I know.
Aquaman, the movie,
Managed to
takes
actually
place
get me
after
excited.
this.
Yeah.
But Wonder Woman '84 takes place before this movie, so it's an interesting timeline, if you will. But I do think that again, to try to look at it as a really sharp continuity, I think would be a mistake. I think there is like I say, I think those movies now, you know, in a lot of ways, the theatrical version probably of Justice League is tighter in continuity
With the other,
to what
with the ones
they're
that
doing
followed,
now
yeah.
in the DCU, because frankly, that was a movie that they kind of they were in charge of the elements, right?
They fucked up, you know.
You ruined my baby.
Gesture of saying, you know, Zack, just, you know, go finish your vision. It has, you know, it's going to be divergent in some ways. You know, it's just by its nature. But you know, and I think that's a thing you want, because it just allows more and more.
Well, as you said, DC is famous for doing these great graphic novels, and you know, these stories that come out and are really the signature of the people who are making them. And so I think that's a
100%.
great comparison.
Run your fingers through your hair one more time, Zach. Just one more time.
And flip your glasses
Just
up.
yet. Especially today with Black Lives Matter.
Bite your lip.
What do you think his expanded story, and you're going to have a lot more of his parents as well. What
Yeah.
do you think they'll be adding? What do you hope they'll be adding to your film?
From the beginning, when Chris Terry and I started talking about this story, we really wanted to make Cyborg the heart of the movie, and Ray, from the beginning, we loved Ray and the casting of Ray, and I get along with Macy. He's a close friend, and we talked to him a lot about like what he thought
Cyborg's time has come.
because there's a big Cyborg goes on a
Doom
huge
Patrol.
journey, you know.
Oh wow, that's
And
great.
like, I mean, just as far as like where he is when we meet him, where he is at the end of the movie, it's really, he represents in a lot of ways this sort of what it is to create community and what it is to like, bring people together. And I think that, we made, like I said, we made the movie, in 2016, and I just think that those themes are more important now than ever. So it's a really amazing and fun turn to be able to work with Ray and to be able to bring that character to life, because it's so important for now.
Well, finally, your interaction with fans is unparalleled. And you told me you have a
Vero.
big surprise coming up at JusticeCon later this week.
All right.
That's why I'm here to plug this.
Yeah, no, of course. I think the JusticeCon,
Producer.
JusticeCon stuff, and by the way, I'm super excited about JusticeCon because it's, it's a by fans and for fans con, which I don't know if there's too many of those going on at this scale. With these guys putting it on is just amazing, and so I was more than honored to like do whatever I could.
It's by the fans. They put it together. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
And a lot of my friends, like literal friends, are a part of it, so that's fun. And so, I may show a clip.
Oh,
I mean, I may. What did I say? It is.
Yeah, you
it
might.
may be a small clip. Yeah. And also,
You know what that
there's
means?
another little-
He's definitely doing it.
Another announcement as well, like a little
Another
segment just for
announcement.
the fans. And so, not that everything is just for the fans, because I guess it is, but
This is cool though. So people
the
want
exciting bit,
to
I
do
think
that.
the clip is the
Is this outside of Comic Con?
Yeah.
Well, that's very exciting.
While Comic-Con's
When is
happening?
this panel?
I
It's
guess
later
so.
this week.
yeah, I'm on Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, so Saturday.
I'm looking for my note. I
I'll
don't
put
have
the information down.
Yeah,
below,
it's
so
Saturday. I
people
think
can check it out.
I think I'm right after Ray. So
That's
5:30
fantastic.
p.m.
yeah, it's cool.
So really,
Eastern time.
Zach, we're also happy for you.
Screw
And
Comic-Con.
congratulations.
It's too kind. It's too kind. I thank the fans, because without them, like I said, this wouldn't happen. So it's pretty crazy.
Without them, I might have watched the theatrical cut.
Cheers. Okay, you too.
I've really noticed, and I think Grace's interview here is a perfect example of it, is that these Zoom quarantine interviews are just so much more natural and feel so much more conversational.
Yeah.
Let's get the mics on. Yeah, I think this is a wonderful interview. I think a lot of people are going to be covering information from here. Good on you, beyond the trailer, Grace Randolph.
People are already covering this interview and breaking it into multiple parts.
Yeah, it's a really rich interview. My main takeaway that I had listening to this was you hear so much about missing plot points per se, Darkseid, abundance of other characters who were supposed to be featured in here. And what I really got from this interview with what Zach was talking about with the characters, he really knows the emotional character journey of these individuals. That's what he wanted to capture here on screen.
Yeah.
Him talking about Superman's resurrection. Anytime I hear about that, I'm always associating like Black Suit Superman. I can't wait to see that. Oh, it's going to be cool. Whoa. And he was talking about what does that do to an individual going into the afterlife or something and then coming back to Earth? Who is that person? I was like, Yeah,
That's a great question.
The one that came out a few years ago didn't do anything with that, really. It was just like, Pet Cemetery jokes, I'm going to clarify again, because I'm going to keep saying this. I had so much fun with Joss Whedon's Justice League. I thought it was a fun Saturday morning cartoon.
It's Monday now, Greg.
Yeah, that being said, I'm really under the impression that I'm probably going to love this significantly more, especially with that answer that he gave about the purpose of doing this and with the pressure, because there's so many jokes that go around about Zack Snyder's Justice League, There's so much hype for this. How can it possibly live up to the hype? So when she asked that question, I was really like paying attention to how is he going to answer this exactly? Yeah. And he actually gave the perfect answer. Mm-hmm. This film is championed the support to get this made. The movement is all based off of the people who already love his work with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. He says he just wants to make the purest film that he can make. Basically, like whatever his intent was with this, he's got to honor that 100%. And it sounds like he has even more free reign than before, not really having to worry about length at all with this edition, unless the HBO Max has a specific idea of how they want to divide up the episodes with a certain runtime. But on streaming services especially, they're very lenient with like, you can have this one be 40 minutes and this one be an hour. It doesn't really matter.
Anything to get people to come onto our platform. Seriously, cut it up into 100 parts if you want. We'll just space them out for 10 years, whatever.
I really think that this is going to be something special regardless, because this sounds like a true artist's vision. And the way he talked about the characters, like even with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, I didn't even think about that perspective, because it's kind of there with Aquaman.
Ish.
Loner, but then he joins the team.
That's mostly just to get like a cool, early on bit of like, we got to do like a big convincing badass moment with somebody.
They hit the outline.
Yeah, exactly. No, it does, and it serves its purpose to the overall plot. You can't do it with everybody, so we do it with Aquaman.
But with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, whatever type of relationship or exploration of these two loners who really don't want to be part of a team, that even makes more sense to have Batman be the lead of the Justice League in this version of a guy who was especially a loner type character in BVS and is now learning to put that to the side so he can unite people, and then seeing what that does with the characters of Aquaman. Like that, my main takeaway with this is like, I don't know why it hasn't really been the main discussion. Is the character exploration.
Well, and the whole idea that Cyborg being, the newest and is he maybe not the youngest among them, but one of the younger among them and least experienced among them, is the one who brings them all together into that sense of community and the importance of that. Yes. And I did also appreciate it going off, what you said about, him wanting to make the best film possible and the most honest to his trilogy and completing this trilogy of films, because, say what you will, and we've certainly said a lot about Man of Steel, BVS, and then Whedon's Justice League, it certainly doesn't feel like a completed trilogy. It's also just really great at selling you his vision and the passion that drives it. And I think one thing that's really cool here and cool for him and just cool to see is the amount of fan appreciation, because it's clear that this guy's doing his thing. Like, this is his vision, but he's also seemed like he's really demonstrating, like, to even premiere a clip at a fan-generated event when Comic-Con's going on, and I don't know if there's any kind of correlation between the two, but it seems like a very passion-driven project that does make me really curious to see the completed version, and it makes me wonder if I might, further appreciate, in backwards fashion, the previous two films or something like that. I haven't seen his director's cut of BVS, and
it's good.
And any further cut of Man of Steel, but I liked Man of Steel decently enough. Yeah, I think that this could be a really nice completion, especially with his Superman, because I feel like Superman is one that people were a little bit iffy on when Man of Steel happened, because you had your purists who were like, this isn't my Superman, but I feel like what he's talking about him being, just delving further into that alien, how do I relate to everybody, what is my place in this world, how do I use my power for these people, and who am I now that I've been resurrected? Like, to see all those things maybe actually be realized by a movie that sounds like it will be a pretty hefty length. That does sound exciting and substantial in a way that does make me happy. Like, I remember when they chose him, I was initially like, yeah, go Zack Snyder. And this is kind of like coming back to what I appreciate about him. And so, like, this was really cool to see in this interview. Yeah.
Well, he talks about Superman being this pinnacle, and he was pretty much hinting at he's supposed to arc into the Superman that we know and love.
Yeah.
And this is the exploration of the journey to him getting there.
Yeah.
And so I do think that this would ultimately make the other two feel even better.
I think so,
because you'll get a completed tale here, which makes championing for this that much more important in a certain extent. Yeah, because like you didn't really get the completion of that, and then you got something else. He establishes other things that I'm sure a lot of people are really harping on, you know, like with the DCEU continuity.
He's excited for Batman.
He's excited for Batman. I mean, that actually can go a long way in the fact that he decided, okay, all right, Ben Affleck's Island, we're going to do a completely different Batman right now. Him showing his support. What sounded like a very genuine moment of like, yeah, I'm really excited to see what he does with it. It doesn't just sound like a PR thing that you're required to say. Registers as genuine here, to say the least.
It does.
Which is cool to have his backing on it. But also, you know, the thing with the DCEU especially, what they did with Crisis on Infinite Earths really established a hardcore multiverse. So to say, like, yeah, this is just, you know, like what DC does, their multiverses or their one-offs or their, you know, specific types of adaptations, I think there's a lot of weight for that, and especially in this scenario, because you could essentially, depending on how big of a hit this is and how well loved it is, he could continue with one of these characters or make another Justice League.
And again, that speaks to the prowess of the producer that Zack Snyder is, because he actually did what I thought was the unthinkable for my own personal taste, which was, and especially I think the multiverse does help a lot, because people get really charged up when it looks like this is our only Superman for the foreseeable future, or Batman, or whoever. But this actually got me excited to go, man, think he could finish Justice League and just go off into his own Snyderverse while other things happen in the DC universe, and then we can have a more dark, a little bit more harsh version of the world, and it would be perfectly fine, and it could breathe on its own instead of having to fulfill all these other Marvel-sized expectations, you know?
You can correct me on the words here, but I imagine there's like a DC galaxy. Oh. And then within there are the multiple universes, right?
Yeah.
Automatically, if you look at it as like the DC galaxy, I think I'm using the science terminology proper here. That would mean that even within the multiverse, all these properties are still connected. These universes have something where, you know, Flash or someone could travel to that other universe or whatever.
This universe is linked by the fact that every molecule has a little DC logo on it.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like you could have universe hopping if you want to down the road, which is what Crisis on Infinite Earths was really doing to establish that no, we can cross over. These other universes are separate, but we can cross over. So depending on this, I mean, they have free reign to play around with continuity. They do, you know.
Okay.
I hope this pans out well. And for Cyborg, I've been hearing the whole thing about Cyborg being the heart of it for the longest time. I'm actually watching Doom Patrol. There's a Cyborg character on there who is great. Really real three-dimensional character. It's so much easier. It's weird. I imagine it's a very different type of interpretation for what Ray Fisher would be doing in Justice League. But after getting a lot more familiar with a very human take on Cyborg in Doom Patrol, it's a lot easier for me to imagine how he could be the heart and soul of this film. Just getting, you know, that much more acquainted with the character. Overall, I did think this was a wonderful interview. I mean, I make it as long as you want, Zach. Like, more episodes the merrier.
Well, and it's done something really funny to me, which is it's brought so much love. Like every time I hear about this project now, it's just attached with this like avalanche of love, and so that really gets me more excited than anything. Like I'm actually feeling like bright and excited to see what they come out with. You know,
it's because we didn't think this would
ever happen.
It's like we were never sure. We always
is the
wanted
Superman.
It.
He's been resurrected.
He's
going to arc into the DC filmmaker we've always wanted him to be.
We had hoped for it. I signed the petition years ago. How many petitions are signed that don't actually pan out? So the fact that this is actually happening is a big deal. It's still got its haters and whatever, but screw them. Let's use that
footage.
Get this going. Great job, Grace. I don't know if this is a wonderful interview, and this is one people will be talking about.
And thanks for watching our breakdown, Grace.
All right, guys. Well, you can go click on the original video link in the description box. Check out Grace's channel if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Get notified whenever we got a YouTube video up. What did you think of this video? Last but not least, Bradley Bledsoe. Bradley is a handsome gentleman all the way from the state of Fried Chicken, Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
Man is happily married, works on video essays, does covers of songs, writes scripts, multi-talented gentleman over here.
Sexy.
He goes down on his wife 3 times a week at least.
Oh, man, minimum.
It's a beautiful thing what he's doing, because
Because a lot of guys aren't willing to, even in this day and age, and you just should be able to
it's
now.
weirdly like talked down on,
Yeah, I
and
don't
Bradley goes against the grain, and he goes, "Hey, I love you," and then she offers to go down on him, and he goes, "No, no, 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 it still doesn't work."
Only on my birthday.
Once on the mountain.
We take our pilgrimage every year up the mountain, then and only then.
But not today. Sorry, Bradley. We gave you a funnier shout out on your on the live stream, but thanks for being here, Bradley.
This
Hope
is
you
the
enjoyed
runoff
this.
of that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.